Hello, I'm Azaikyousuke. Welcome back to VenusBlood Frontier. So for once, I am actually not, I actually did not just come back from the gym. So I've already set this for people on Patreon, but 2 days ago it was, I was going to my niece's birthday dinner. And yesterday I was back at the gym. I ate some food and I was like, you know what? I'll play a tiny bit of Winter Memories. If you guys don't know what Winter Memories is, it's like this pixel art nuki-gay, arrow-gay thing. That is actually pretty fun. And yeah, so I played that for like 5 hours and I'm like, damn, it's already nighttime. There's no way I'm gonna be able to record like an episode today. But yeah, yesterday I was actually doing that for the majority of my day. Pretty insanely fun game. And it does have sex scenes because, you know, as I said, it's a nuki game. The story is like whatever. You don't really care too much about the story. Like, it's really ridiculous, some of the storylines that it has, actually. Just so that the MC gets to have sex with the girl. But yeah, the gameplay and the art is insanely good. The art in like especially is very, very nice. I am very fond of pixel art because it reminds me of my old gaming days back when I was a kid. So that was really... yeah, it was great. But enough about that. Let's actually talk about, you know, the last episode recap. So yeah, this is actually a Sunday and I did not record an episode for 2 days. So I'll be recording an episode back to back. After a break, of course. Since it's still very early in the day. Like 9:47 p.m. Or sorry, a.m. But let's see, let's talk about the last episode recap, as I said. Oh yeah, on the last episode, we got bombarded with an insanely long cutscene that I wasn't even able to do 2 8 scenes, right? I was only able to do 1. So yeah, we kind of finished off trying to beat up Ymir on the last episode. But then, there was like an insanely long cutscene where it tells you about a lot of story where the key of Yggdrasil, or the heart of Yggdrasil, is basically the key that Loki's holding. Sinmara was a goddess that came from Yggdrasil and was wedded to Farba, which is Loki's dad, as a way to, you know, is a political marriage. But because the relationship between Yggdrasil and the demon realm was not going well again, Farba tried to get to Sinmara, I believe. Or he tried to snuck away to Yggdrasil along with Loki and Sinmara, but was captured instead. Or I don't know if he's captured. He could have been killed. We know for a fact that Sinmara is actually dead now. And Loki, his whole life has been a lie. His whole life he's actually been playing in the palm of people's hands. They all know that Loki had possession of the key of Yggdrasil, or heart of Yggdrasil. But it seems you need to use it constantly to power it up. And I think it probably lowers your... I don't know, it probably lowers your... lifespan or something, which is why they were using it, or they were making Loki use it instead of anyone else, because he's supposed to be a pawn, right? Or his life is inconsequential, basically, right? And Ymir got the key, and it seems Surt and Ymir are in battle right now here in the auditorium, which is Surt's big ass airship, or whatever you call that, right? Battleship, I guess. It's super big. And I see those dots. There's no way it's gonna be over after we actually get this area, right? After this area, there's like 4 more dots, as you can see. So I have no doubt there's gonna be 4 more fights. Or not fights, but you know, 4 more areas to take over once we do deal with the Auditorium South. I wanted to do this, but I forgot that cutscenes actually cut off the H scenes short. So we actually have to go into a fight right now. Which I will just heal up everyone so we can just go full on frontal assault. Don't die, Mikey B. Blizzard Bear. I think we're good. Let's go. All of these are the same, so it's all about Minia and these golems that Yorm used to have. Can I make the Mew yet? Let's take a look. Not yet. Soon, but not yet. Okay. That's fine. Let's go ahead and do this. After this fight, I will most likely try to get into an 8 scene. Nightmare Smash. Revive to all allies, reduce enemy parameters by 25%. So I'm just gonna go do Moat Sleipnir. Okay, his Armenia didn't get to use her thing. Okay, now we're gonna take damage now because we got 0 in the wall. Well, Minia's dead, so she can't revive anymore. So we're good. Yeah, only 1 more. Bye-bye. Jeez, Aaron. So much EXP, 19,000. What the? You guys didn't do jack squat? Wait, oh shit! Look at it! Loki actually doesn't become Vedrung anymore. That's a very good attention to detail. Didn't realize that until now. Jesus. Out of all of those, only 1 got destroyed by my defending or attacking team. That was rough. These guys are pretty tough. But okay, now we got these back. So I will be doing the Auron dance because I want this to happen earlier. Or sorry, I want to get the next scene for Odin sooner, right? The next scene should be her being fully corrupted. So we'll do this, and then we'll do Thor, and then we'll do Odin again. So let's go.
Loki, どこにおるのじゃ? わらわが直々に来てやったのじゃぞ。姿を見せよ。
Okay, we are not inside of the dungeon training room or whatever. Pretty unique background for once. Odin was summoned to a forest near the airship. She reached the area Loki specified and looked around. The dim woodland blocked the light of the sun, and it was eerily quiet. But there was some sort of sweet aroma. Odin felt something was off about the odor and stood on guard, only to be attacked by numerous vines. They struck with the force of whips, but Odin only had to twist away to avoid them. Then look where the attack came from. With her power, this attack was like child's play. What she saw was a stunningly beautiful girl. At least, her upper half was. Her lower body was a flower. The defining characteristic of the monster is called Aurons. I'm just gonna say it like how she said it. I actually don't know how to pronounce that word. They emitted a sweet aroma deep in the woods to draw in and eat humans, making them extremely dangerous.
随分とわらわも舐められたものじゃな。
But that vicious monster was nothing to the leader of the goddesses. She pulled her divine gear out of nowhere and pointed it at the unsettlingly wriggling Auron. Why would you use your divine gear on someone as weak as this monster, though? Compared to all the other foes she had eaten, Odin had an overwhelming presence. The highest deity's divine energy seemed to be too much for one ordinary monster. She couldn't help but back away.
今さら逃げようとしたところで無駄じゃ。クソにもわらわに牙を向いた魔物。生かして返さぬわ。
But Odin in particular saw monsters as her mortal enemies. She would grant the Auron no mercy. Odin smirked and charged forward.
覚悟せよ。
She neared the Auron faster than a speeding arrow and slashed. But just then... Odin dropped her weapon and curled up on the ground. Her face turned red, and her whole body poured sweat. Clearly, something was ailing her.
死ぬと子宮が薄いた。力が入らぬ。これはあやつの状況の残り火。こんな時に。
Loki's sex training left poison in Odin that triggered at the worst possible time. A dull shock rushed through her abdomen. Highest deity though she was, Odin dropped her weapon and sat defenseless. This wouldn't end well. The Auron took its chance to send tons of vines rushing at Odin.
ただで済むと思っておるのか。
Patreon.com/Azaikyousuke. You actually see someone else that's a girl in this scene, interestingly enough. The Auron is actually shown there too, with her boobs and everything. But yeah, see you guys on YouTube. This was unknown to Odin, but her illness was all Loki's doing. You're up, Odin.
そうだ。あのアルラウネは。
I sent her away already. If she stayed, I have no doubt you would have killed her when you woke up. Loki disposed of any evidence of the intense intercourse from just moments ago, and had already dressed Odin. Odin's cock had also spewed enough semen to disappear. Your erect cock got milked by a flower pussy until the moment it disappeared, even knocking you unconscious. You enjoyed the cock that much, did you?
あれを見ていたのか。
Yes, it was quite the amusing show. Seeing the highest deity with a cock and rolling her eyes back in her head while she comes isn't something you see every day. But getting your cock sucked didn't seem to be something you entirely disapproved of. Unless I'm mistaken, Odin.
冗談を言うな。たわけ。よいかべき。次こんなことをしたらただでは済まさぬぞ。
I don't know why these girls don't just kill Loki, man, at this point. After looking at all these training sessions, I swear, some of these girls should definitely have killed Loki. Odin stood imposingly and left the forest. She acted like it was only natural to forgive this first offense, but she offered no reason as to why. Her resistance to pleasure was disappearing, but even she didn't realize it yet. Okay, we're gonna do some more after we destroy this area. Man, I have 7,000 magic? God, that is actually pitiful. At least I have a lot of money though, so I can just heal up and regroup. Or sorry, heal up and attack these guys again. I don't think we need to heal Eren. Can I make the dragon now? Can I make the moo? Yes, there we go. I don't think I should give Demu anything because he's just so expensive. I kind of want to, but man, these magic type of people are so expensive. Sorry, I kind of hit the mic there. Hope I didn't do anything to the mic. Sorry, I hit the cable, not just the mic. So let's see. Gonna heal the Mu. Let's take a look at what he has for equips. He has wide attack, fire field, dragon scales, and critical boost. So preferably we would give him helmet split. Counter amp, hardy physique, slay demon, poison attack, critical boost. I guess you can get this. More hardy physique, I guess. More hardy physique and evade. Helmet split, there we go. Lethal critical is also pretty nice on him, actually. Damn. Lethal critical, critical boost. Counter amp, dragon scales. Nah, I'll just give him that. Dragon Shield got some nice equipment. Okay, let's destroy these guys. Yeah, I should easily be able to destroy these guys with the same team. I don't know if I want to use the Mu just yet. I could actually put him in the front. You know what? I think I will do that. I don't think we need Aaron, so I'm gonna put Aaron somewhere else. I'm gonna try to power level the Mu. Wait, Aaron is almost at 100 loyalty. Shit. I kind of want to do that first. Yeah, I kind of want to do that first. Okay, sorry, Demu. Not yet. Let's go. I'm gonna go use Sleipnir again. Yeah, Aaron is doing so... Oh, damn, that hurts. Okay, now we're gonna take damage. Well, we don't take a lot. Thankfully, I think most of the damage is already gone. Goodbye. They give you so much experience. 19,000. I gotta take a look whether or not Loki's items are gone, or his equips. I think he has different equips compared to Vidrang. Okay, more story. The chaos in the world below stood in contrast to the tranquility inside the auditorium. Nobody but the Dark Lord's private army was stationed inside. Not even the Imperial family was allowed to lay a finger on the ship. The perfectly organized personnel rained cannon fire on their fellow monsters without a second thought. Ymir betrayed his usual demeanor with blatant cynicism. The sight of the apocalypse and soldiers he gathered together being annihilated didn't sit well with him. He figured Cert would do something like this, but the impact of it actually happening wasn't small. Minia was leading the way until she suddenly stopped and faced Ymir again. They looked at each other in silence for a moment. Minia's inquisitive stare was met by Ymir's projected calmness.
それは承知しているよ。でも今回は物が物だ。私が自分の手でお渡しするわけにはいかないのかな。
恐れながら。
Minia apologetically lowered her head. Accepting there was no other way, Ymir bitterly smiled and shook his head. Then he said something that Minia couldn't set aside.
やっぱり君は私を信用してはいないか。いや、それはお互い様だね。私はいろんなことを知りすぎている。ユグドラシーの心臓が手に入れば、スルトにとって邪魔者にしかならないのだろう。
Ymir's simple referral to the Dark Lord by name rather than title made Minia's eyes go wide. She gasped, but Ymir kept speaking regardless.
魔王の座も魔剣もスルトのためだけにある。秘宝を手にするための餌というだけで、最初から譲るつもりになってなかったんじゃないか。
それ以上の発言は魔王陛下に対する不敬に当たりますよ。
だからどうだと言うんだい。私を不敬罪で処断でもするつもりかい。
イミル様、あなたは。
メニア、君はスルトを知っているつもりでいて、本当は何も分かっていない。今から私が魔王の化けの皮を剥がしてあげよ
何を。
Just then, the auditorium was hit by its first tremors. The thunderous cannon fire was clearly aimed at the auditorium.
劇場が砲撃を受けている。
後方艦隊の援護はなんとか間に合ったようだね。
Ymir gave the panicking secretary a composed smile. The shaking was still faint, but it seemed like the calm before the storm of the coming battle. When Loki landed on the auditorium's outer rim, they immediately received a rough welcome. He drove the enemy soldiers off and confirmed his group's safety. Turka, Fina, Odin, Freya, everyone was present. Alright, the other goddesses are actually trying to help people on the surface. They slipped past the flurry of attacks and made it thanks largely to Fina's Vanaheim.
助かりましたわ、フェーナさん。ロキ様にお伺いするつもりでしたか。
Fina's response was one to which Freya could only wryly smile. Being protected by someone else was an experience goddesses seldom had. If they wanted Freya to put up a fight, they'd have to quickly retrieve Brisingamen, however. Ugh, that is so hard to say.
シンボルが離れていくわ。もう立ち戻る気ないわね。
Their ship left a trail of smoke as it left. Turka nervously watched it recede. They took advantage of Surt and Ymir's skirmish to board the ship, but not unharmed. Knowing Regret's ship-handing skills, Loki wanted to believe they'd make it out intact, but...
地上のことはあやつらに任せていくしかないの。それより大変なのはこっちの方じゃ。
Right. From what I can tell, quite a number of Ymir's men have invaded the auditorium. Sounds from all around the vast ship told them of violent struggles. If they wanted to avoid needless battles, the first thing they wanted to do was capture Ymir. However,
やっぱり魔王スルトのところかしら。
yes, if I had to guess, that meant the most highly guarded part of the airship. It was modeled after the palace's stage hall, but even Loki had only heard it spoken of. This way, let's hurry.
あやつにはミニリンがリグドラシーの心臓を渡すわけにはいかない。それにしてもロキ殿の持つ鍵がリグドラシーの心臓だったと。
How does she not... Oh, sorry. God, you talk so slow, Odin. I wish you talked just like how you did in the 8 scenes. You actually talk super fast in 8 scenes. I was gonna say, how does she not realize that the key was with Loki? I think I reasoned it out on the last episode, saying that maybe Loki was out of frame when he did turn into Vedrung, so she wasn't able to see what he was doing to change the Vedrung. Odin. But you once used that key to create Yggdrasil, didn't you? How did you not realize? Odin's frustration prompted an obvious question. Fina and Freya warily proceeded forward. Turka did the same, but couldn't seem to hide her curiosity about Loki and Odin's discussion. Odin apprehensively shook her head.
記憶の一部にもやがかかってるの。このような記憶初めて聞く。
Amnesia? Or is it a seal? A secret of especially high importance might demand that leaks be avoided by shutting away her memories. The question was, who would seal the highest deed's memories?
ロキ様。
His thoughts were interrupted by Fina's piercing shout. Did the demon realm actually win the fight against Yggdrasil all those years ago? And they actually sealed everyone else's memories? Who knows? It's always intriguing, the story in this game. It's actually well thought out, which I really did not expect when I first played, when I first started recording this playthrough. He reflexively looks straight ahead. I think I said this right, but I really thought this was just a Nuki game with gameplay, but it's surprisingly a very competent story, too. Beyond the archway in their path, he saw someone familiar. Minia was suppressing a wound in the side of her stomach and breathing heavily. It was a coincidental encounter, as evidenced by her shocked expression. Minia!
ロキ様。なぜあなたが。姉さん。怪我をしているのですか。そうか。最初からクーデターを計画していたのだ。ロキ様に生かしてみたのも勝手かった。
The disjointed conversations exemplified the chaos on both sides. But the one who picked up the most information from it was Loki. Rebel. Ymir picked the last second to turn against Surt? And if he let me live, that means...
あれはヘルたちが支配に抗ったからで、イミルにとっては予想外の成り行きだったんじゃない？
No, Ymir wouldn't make that mistake. If we wanted to make sure we were killed... I think that's supposed to be he there. Typo? He would have done it himself. Now that he thought about it, Hel and Fenrir were on a distant battlefield before being summoned. If a short distance weakened Ymir's control, that wouldn't be possible.
あの場は最初から私たちを逃がし、メニアには死んだと思わせるための芝居だったというのですわ。
Wow, really? He thought that far ahead. This guy is insane, dude. That's what I think. It looks like he still sees some use for me. He really knows no limits. While Ymir was fighting Loki, he was already looking ahead to the confrontation with Surt. Then, Loki's invasion of the auditorium was no doubt within Ymir's expectations. If Loki couldn't somehow surpass his predictions, defeating him would be difficult. Loki felt ever more hostile toward Ymir, but simultaneously noticed an odd sense of fulfillment.
その傷はイミル様にやられたものです。
God, I do not care about Minia at all.
あなたと話すことなど何もありません。
And it's so weird that these guys are talking to each other because they're the same VA. Even in this crisis, Minia's disdain for her sister remained intact. In contrast, Fina looked concerned.
手負いの状態で私たちから逃げられるとは思わないことですわ。フリーシン画面返してもらいますわ。
そう、行きません。ここが魔王陛下の劇場であるとお忘れですか？
Minia growled. Not a moment later, alarms began to blare. They called upon humanoid machines. It was unknown where they had been hiding, but tons of golems surrounded Loki's group. Their emotionless, artificial eyes were actually sensors that glowed red, registering Loki and his cohorts as enemies.
なんだ、こいつらは。
Golems. I see. Yorm got the plant and glads from you.
その通りですよ、ロキ様。そして私はあの施設のブラックボックスを解析し、同じものをこの劇場内に作り上げたのです。
As if in response to Minia's voice, the golems began to attack. Fina blocked their projectiles with her umbrella, while Turka and Odin destroyed the approaching golems. But their durability was high. What would have been fatal wounds for humans didn't put them down. When the golems persistently stood up, Odin clicked her tongue. You're as wily as your sister. Wily? Willy? Freya had no divine gear, and Loki couldn't transform into Vedrung. Their strength was diminished as it was, so they wanted to avoid expending any more energy, but... Why would she care about her sister? This is so weird. Minia forgot the pain of her injury and hysterically shrieked. The only way to stop the golems would be to pacify her. Loki resolutely charged his halberd with dark energy. Fina, draw Minia's attention. I'll do the attacking. I'll try not to take her life, but... Loki implied that murder might be necessary and pushed Fina to make a decision. Alright, let's do this. With that pained answer from Fina, Loki kicked off the ground. At the same time, Fina leapt right into the center of the golem's attacks. When her sister jumped in the crossfire, Minia was inevitably shaken up. However excellent Vanaheim's defenses might have been, it couldn't block from all angles. Should she halt the golem's attacks or not? What little sympathy for her sister she had left caused Minia to hesitate. That was Loki's chance. While the goddesses and Fina distracted the golems, Loki sprung over their heads. I can't do this, man. I wasn't ready for that, Loki! Come on! I'm gonna skip voice acting that. I wasn't ready for that, damn it. Loki slashed, but Minia swiftly opened her umbrella to block him. Wow, this is a very nice art. First time seeing this art of her. Niflheim was Vanaheim's counterpart, putting up a barrier that kept out Loki's blade in flames. However, the unexpected force made Minia go pale. She couldn't hold out against that forever. Minia took her hand off her side to hold the umbrella in both hands. Loki's power was increasing. He lost the key and couldn't become Vedrung, but his innate strength had clearly grown since leaving the demon realm. He had only just been unable to stand after a psychological blow, so Minia couldn't believe Loki's abundant fighting spirit. Stop resisting, Minia. I don't want to take your life. If you just tell me what you know... Minia used all her might to push Loki back. Blood fountained from her wound, but it was no time to be distracted by pain. Minia pridefully yelled and raised her umbrella's output to maximum. Then, when her body was defenseless, Yorm's claw attacked. Is she also being controlled here? Interesting. Minia reacted too late to avoid the giant claw's sweeping strike. Blood sprayed as she was blown away. With his opponent out of the way, Loki's momentum carried him to the floor. Splattered with Minia's blood, Yorm made eye contact with him. Yorm, where did you come from? Yup, guess she is still controlled. Are you under the cursed book's control too? Her vacant eyes showed she wasn't her normal self. Yorm's claw looked like it was about to attack him too, so he shouted to stop her. Don't misunderstand, Yorm. You're fighting Dark Lord Surt's forces. We're not on Surt's side. Can you hear me? No, we're not. Yorm nodded, apparently satisfied. She turned around. Her next target was the group of golems. Yorm drew their attention enough that the others could get near Loki. Loki sighed. Even under Ymir's control, she was no less of a simpleton. She's definitely an idiot. I can't believe that worked. So if Minia says she's not with the auditorium, she's not gonna attack her or something? Who knows? At least she can keep them occupied. Anyway, Freya. Loki took Brisingamen off Minia and returned it to its owner. He worried it may have been hidden somewhere, but she apparently didn't have the time. With her divine gear back in her hands, Freya's sight was relieved. Yorm's Bifrost cut her. If she's cured right away, I don't think she'll die, but... Minia's face twisted with agony. Yorm's dark gear doubled the pain from her wound. Given how bad it was already, the anguish must have been unbearable. Not only could Minia not attack, but she lost the composure to even command the golems. Want me to free you from the pain? That kinda sounds like a threat than trying to actually heal her, Loki. Minia tearfully glared at Loki. If you do, then answer my questions. That's the deal, Minia. Turka interjected with disgust. Loki shrugged and nonchalantly responded. Come on, you're a fucking dark goddess, Turka. You're supposed to be okay with this. You know how scummy I am? I'm a gentleman, you see. It's not as if she has to listen to me or else I'll kill her. I wouldn't use such crude methods. The answer wasn't directed at Odin, but at Minia. Minia, if you don't answer my questions, that pain will never end. But I have no intention of killing you. What do you think I'll do with you instead then? Minia lacked the energy to even smack-talk him. Loki went on. I'll take you back as a prisoner, where you'll be treated by Fina. Be thankful, Minia. I'll tell Fina to take good care of you. You get to bond with your sister. Minia imagined her possible future and couldn't help but cling to Loki. Loki seemed to understand Minia's reaction. He maliciously smiled. Heh, too bad. I thought that'd be an amusing sight, but oh well. This doesn't mean that she's gonna talk to us even after she gets healed though. Unless she talks first, of course. Then we probably wouldn't even have to, like, you know, do our part of the bargain, technically speaking. I don't get the dynamic between Fina and Minia though. Minia clearly hates Fina, and like, Fina does like us, right? Minia kept disregarding or disrespecting Loki for years. I have no idea why they would still have any sort of familial bonds. I am not a very idealistic person, or you know, I'm just a realist by nature, right? Even if they are family, tied to by blood, if there is something that's just not gonna be able to make you guys relate anymore, then I feel like you're not really family anymore at that point. Just my personal take on it though. Turka, Freya, try and get Yorm under control. I'll break Bifrost's curse.
仕方ありませんよね。
At Loki's orders, Turka and Freya begrudgingly obeyed. While they were capturing Yorm, Loki questioned Minia again. Now, what happened before we got here? Minia, we're only going after Ymir. You're working for Surt, who's opposing Ymir. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Well, I can't go that far, but I think we have some grounds to cooperate. After a good deal of hesitation, Minia gave up and hung her head. I see. So it wasn't a sudden conflict, but a planned rebellion after all. Loki heard the full story from Minia and muttered. She told of everything leading up to Ymir's rebellion to the best of her knowledge. Then, Minia was finally released from Bifrost's curse. She lay exhausted on the floor. Based on her silent acceptance of Turka's medical treatment, she seemed to have accepted her fate to some extent. But her refusal of Fina's help indicated that some stubbornness remained. While that was underway, Loki's analysis proceeded. Brushed off by her sister, Fina approached her master as he stood by himself. Her meek observation received a silent nod. Surt never planned to give any of the candidates the throne. Ymir guessed as much, and Minia confirmed it. According to her, Surt's only goal was to restore the heart of Yggdrasil's power and take it for himself. He had grown old, and his colossal energy was starting to decline. The key was his plan for regaining his old power. If his past strength and youth return, his inexperienced descendants wouldn't need to take the throne. Seems believable. I'd rather not think about it, but it's possible. The heart of Yggdrasil has that much power. Loki's transformation into Vedrung was itself a materialization of his greatest potential. If Surt used the key, the revival of a younger, more powerful Dark Lord seemed perfectly plausible. Assuming Minia spoke the truth, maybe Yggdrasil wasn't in so much danger of falling, but... Odin pointed at the secretary lying weakly on the floor. Which is not really my problem, to be honest, Freya, now that we got the info we need. Freya sighed. Ymir's troops were still fighting throughout the auditorium. In her damaged state, Minia would have trouble defending herself. Fine. I hate to let her weigh us down, but... Loki held up a hand in front of Minia, summoning fiery ropes to bind her. He at least made sure they wouldn't harm her. As long as she didn't try to escape, the heat of the fire wouldn't reach her. Fina, you carry her. Loki is way too compassionate. I thought that he is way more evil than this, but I guess I gave him way more credit than he has. I probably would have done that, Minia, but there was no choice for it. Not possible. Now tell us where to go. You're at least good for that. Loki said coldly and got walking. Fina followed behind him with Minia, along with the goddesses. Behind them, Yorm started flailing her claw at the golems again. Deep in the auditorium, a close battle was unfolding. Particularly in the hall to the Dark Lord's chamber, Ymir's monsters and Surt's guards fought fiercely. The energy was on the side of the rebels, but Surt's specially selected elites defended him well. Loki's group followed Minia's guidance straight into the violent clash. Ymir, you fought your way this far? I know he took them by surprise, but that's remarkable. The adaptability of this squad wasn't that of someone controlled by the cursed book. The monsters that invaded the auditorium were willingly obeying Ymir. Fear of Dark Lord Surt was deeply rooted in monsters, so the fact that Ymir didn't have to rely on the book to gather so many troops meant his charisma couldn't be denied.
安心してる場合じゃないわロキ早くイミルを見つけないとヘルたちが
Ymir's backline troops heard the commotion behind them and turned around. When they learned these weren't reinforcements from Surt, but goddesses instead, confusion began to brew. Loki wondered if they should force their way past, but that wasn't necessary. A subordinate's report seemed to convince Ymir to show himself.
やあロキやっぱり来たねメニアも一緒か道案内は役に立ったかな
Ymir. Ymir smiled like he foresaw everything, as usual. But he only looked at Loki as someone worth using. His current target was Surt. Loki pushed his malaise aside and opened his mouth. I'm taking the heart of Yggdrasil, and that page of the cursed book too.
そうはいかないなこの鍵はフルトを倒すのにどうしても必要なんだヘルたちのことももう少し呪縛しておかないとね
All according to your plan then. But what if we fight you? The goddesses behind him readied their weapons. If Loki opposed Ymir, he'd be caught between them and Surt. That would have dispelled trouble for him. He wanted to wait for the confrontation with Surt to use the heart of Yggdrasil, but that plan would be ruined. Ymir bitterly grinned and shook his head.
君はそんな考え足らずじゃないさロキここで私たちが戦えばフルトを利するだけだと分かっているだろ
What if I thought the key's better off with him than with you? They spent some time silently glaring at each other. Anything could set them off, but it ended before that happened. Something up ahead began to stir. Surt's guards seemed to be leaving.
この状況で兵を引っ掛けちゃった何をつなぐじゃ
Odin's question was only natural. Now, Surt's defenses were down. It was like he wanted to be attacked. This only made Ymir and Loki's group more wary. Even as on guard as they were, an echoing voice startled them.
世の劇団には撤収を言い渡した想像しいだけの三文芝居と変わりないゆえな
Surt! The austere voice was unmistakably Dark Lord Surt's. Everyone grew tense. Whether he knew how they responded or not, the voice calmly invited them.
ドールがよい意味ロキそして女神たち特別に配列を許す
Surt's voice faded, and the cacophony in the hallway was replaced by silence. Ymir's typically tranquil expression darkened, and he sternly looked to the end of the hall.
魔王の正体どうやら最初からロキたちの到着を待っていたようだね
To deal with all of us at once, or
いずれにしろここで逃げ帰るわけにはいかんね
the other goddesses nodded. But Loki was unsure. If he couldn't get the key back from Ymir, he had no sway. Encountering Surt now might not get him very far.
ロキ来ないのかい
Man, this is actually a very long cutscene. Are we actually gonna be like having cutscenes until the end of this episode too? Oh my god. Ymir was already heading down the hall. Loki couldn't let him get away. That much was true. He followed his leisurely cousin, forced to walk at his pace. Past the thick door, they found themselves in a wide open space. In the middle of the towering hall sat a grand stage. Its design seemed to be taken from that of the Imperial Palace, resembling its audience room. So yeah, this like frickin' airship does have an audience hall the same as the freaking palace. So that's why I was like so confused about how the demons at the demon realm could take the throne, while this guy's throne is literally him still sitting on it. But I guess this is an exact replica. And the Dark Lord, of course, was on the stage. Loki noticed that the curtain was raised, his breath stopping for a few seconds.
ロキ様、魔王陛下の素顔が。
So he doesn't plan to hide any longer then.
あれがすると。
When they drew near, his waves of dark energy alone felt overpowering. This was him after the ravages of age? If you regain his power from his prime, just how great would it be? Confronted with the unfathomable strength, Loki even began to think that siding with Ymir might have been wiser. Such feelings were common among citizens of the Demon Realm, where Dark Lord Surt's name struck fear into all.
まずは大義であった。エミル、そしてロキよ。世のために、エグドラシルの心臓に再び脈を打たせた。
おとぼけをすると。私はあなたのために秘宝を手に入れたつもりはないよ。
Not even Surt broke Ymir's veneer of calmness. He paid no respect to the Dark Lord, playing around with the key in his hand.
ここであなたを倒し、私は魔界と地上世界に新たな時代を呼び込む。あなた流に言うならば、用済みとなった登場人物にはさっさと退場していただきたいのだよ。
God, he's so smug.
戦長な、魔王陛下の意向が轟いているからこそ帝国の秩序が保たれているのですよ。
Minia interrupted. She was still bound by the ropes of flame, but her tone was firmly critical of Ymir.
あなたが王になったところで群雄割拠の時代に逆戻りするだけです。絶大なる力は絶対の強者が持ってこそ意味を持つものです。
God, stop cocksucking him, Minia. What the fuck?
メス、
Ymir is clearly, like, you know, competent enough to be able to handle it, in my opinion. Her loyalty to Surt was always sincere then. Minia respected the Dark Lord's power and prestige, typical of a certain sort of monster found in the Empire. And her feelings about having a ruler with absolute power in order to maintain stability were by no means wrong. But whether Surt could continue to be the Dark Lord she hoped for was a big question. Ymir responded to Minia's rage with a shrug.
やっぱり君の理解はその程度のものだったんだね。スルトが本当は何をするつもりかも知らずに。
何を？
Rather than answer Minia's question, Ymir glared up at Surt. He slowly set foot on the stairway to the stage. The Dark Lord didn't stop him.
イミル、待ちなさい。
メニア、スルトはね、魔界の統治なんて考えていないよ。むしろ全てを壊してしまおうとしているんだ。
Well, he did say he wants to see chaos. What?
そうでしょ、スルト。
Ymir turned his back to the rest of the group and questioned Surt himself.
ユグドラシルの心臓を使えばウユージュ大陸を地に落とすこともできる。そうなれば人間たちは再び絶滅に瀕する。するとあなたの本当の目的はそれなんだ。
Isn't that only the extinction of humans though? And goddesses? Wouldn't the demon realm be still okay?
バカな、ユグドラジルを落とすじゃと？
人間が滅びれば女神も生きてはいられない。それが魔王の狙いですの。
だけどそんなことになったら魔族だって生きてはいられないはず。共倒れになるだけじゃないの？
Wait, is the demon realm actually in the bottom of the surface? Is that why they would also hurt the demons? Goddesses fed on the faith of humans, while their negative emotions provided sustenance for demons. Ymir had already revealed as much. As the leader of all demons, Surt couldn't be ignorant to that fact. In other words, oh, okay, because we reduced the number of humans, That means we're gonna run out of energy at some point. It's not that the demon realm is at the very bottom of the surface.
愛えたのだ。繰り返される戯曲、焼き直しの脚本に変わり映えのしない役者どもにな。
Well, you know, you could just step away from the stage then, Surt. His voice did indeed sound fatigued. Surt stayed put in the throne and languidly lorded over Ymir.
信仰と堕落、移ろいやすき人間ども、魔族と女神の代理戦争。かりそめの平和は人間どもが地に満ちればすぐにも破られ、いっそ呆れるほどに歴史は繰り返すものよ。
Buried in the depths of his ennui, anger lurked. Centuries of pent-up rage afflicted Surt like a dismal curse. After watching the world from behind a curtain for so long, the Dark Lord's unhidden face made his thoughts apparent.
それもこれも人間の愚かさゆえ、そしてそのような人間に魔族と女神が影響されざるを得ない仕組みゆえだ。
So you want to destroy Yggdrasil and wipe out humanity? Learning of the abyss that was the Dark Lord's heart, Loki interjected. Minia looked like she couldn't believe her master's words.
嘘です。魔王陛下は恒久的な秩序を打ち立てるのではなかったのですか？
See, this falls into what I was dealing with in Alcana, where I was talking about how clearly Minia was looking at the image of Surt in her own mind instead of the actual Surt. She is clearly delusional.
世が支配を続けたとてどうなる？人間が存在し続け、救いを求める限り、世界は変わらぬままであろう。であるならいっそ、このくだらぬ世を閉幕とするがよかろう。
Ooh, sorry about that, Surt. Her hopes stomped upon, Minia slumped her shoulders. All her hard work for the glory of her master only paved the path toward destruction. The truth made everything that kept Minia going come crashing down. Loki knew how that felt.
聞いただろう、ロキ。スルトにはもはや魔王たる器はない。為政者の滅亡論など、進化や民にとっては害悪なだけさ。
Ymir's not wrong. Ymir, was this the truth about Surt? An excessively long life had fatigued the old Dark Lord, losing interest in all that existed. He could only desire its ruin. It's not like what he's feeling is not understandable. He probably lives like centuries upon centuries, right? And he probably, just like what he said, he saw that the cycle kept repeating, and he grew tired of it. If so, he should be defeated.
情けないの、スルト。ラグナロクで魔界の軍団を従い戦ったお主が、そのありさまとは。
記憶を鍵に封じた今の貴様と話しても、拉致のあかることよ。絶対信。
So she sealed the memories herself.
なんだと？
いいね。世からも一つ尋ねよう。世を倒した暁に、ウヌはどのような世界を作るつもりだ？
Surt ignored Odin's question and turned to the traitor. As if he didn't expect to be asked, Ymir briefly looked surprised. But he quickly pulled himself together and answered Surt.
それを聞いてどうするつもりかな？
なに、小さな興味。ウヌは魔族と女神、そして人間の関係を知っている。
Oh, he's actually done. I was actually waiting for him to say more. You know, maybe Cert, by asking Ymir this, is actually looking for for salvation too. He probably doesn't want to do this, but he's just grown tired of it all, right? And he just wants to destroy everything. And he hopes that Ymir would answer him with, you know, something unexpected.
世の後を継いだとて、いずれは同じ検体に押しつぶされよう。その有無が世界にどのような答えを出すのかとな。
何を言い出すのかと思えば、
Ymir snorted with disgust.
すると幸いに私はあなたほど演歌や波乱を望まない。私の求めるのは何よりもバランスだよ。
バランス。
魔族と女神、どちらかに傾倒する人間。その天秤を傾けすぎることなく、私は世界を統制する。
Okay, that is a bit idealistic, Ymir. That might be too hard even for you.
調律の取れた世界は繁栄が約束される。私は魔族や女神といった枠を超え、節制者として君臨する。それが時代の魔王として私の出した答えだ。
Ymir spread his arms and answered boldly. He would consider Cert as a man of a bygone era, instead setting up a new system for his reign. That was the dream Ymir longed for. It wasn't incompatible with Loki's conquest, but it would revolutionize the demon realm in Yggdrasil. However, I actually do think that is also boring. But boring doesn't mean it's not good. That is the way to peace. Cert promptly dismissed Ymir's answer.
バランスだと。予定調和の戯曲ほど退屈なものがあろうか。それこそ世界は死んだも同然よ。
True, sadly that also leads to stagnation.
もし犬が世をうならせるほどの答えを用意していたら、あるいは上位も考えてやったが、それでは話にならん。貴様に世の後を継がせるくらいなら、ファルバのせがれに任せた方がまだしも面白いというもの。
よく言うよ。最初から任せる気なんてないくせに。
They're still talking about Farba, so I guess Farba did the same thing that Ymir did, but he got killed. Ymir exasperatedly shook his head. Receiving the throne from Cert was never part of the plan. He was here to take it by force. With nothing left to say, all that remained was to fight.
もう死ぬしかないね。
滅せよ、我が声。
God, this is gonna be another one, like, 8-scene episode, isn't it? I'm already recording for an hour and 30 minutes, holy shit. The scenes in this game, when they do play, they go hard. The brief exchange confirmed their hostility. Nearly simultaneously, their dark energy surged. Ymir brandished Ginnungop, while Cert raised a hand and focused his energy. A moment later, the energy reached critical mass and became flames that clashed between them. Ah! An incredible heatwave attacked the group. The shockwave alone nearly blew Loki away, but he narrowly managed to hold his ground. Man, I can't believe on the last episode my audio interface glitched out, right? So the BGM was glitched for maybe like 15 or 20 minutes. This song is pretty hype. Yes, but I was planning to find a chance to steal the key back. Except that... The first collision concluded. The fire became a vortex that surrounded them on the stage. In the center of it all, Ymir and Cert stood unharmed like nothing had happened.
さすがだね。魔装も使わずに私の銀面ガプと拮抗しうるなんて。
褒めてつかす。世を極左から立たせるとはな。世の演目の干渉を許す。
Surt did something odd. His outstretched arms slowly turned inward and formed a circle. He carried himself with little intensity, yet it was a lively, flowing motion that alternated between action and inaction. While everyone was stunned, changes suddenly occurred. The stage blazed with pitch-black flame. Golden light shined from a magic circle that appeared. Soon enough, Surt's dark energy increased, and the flames around him burned more fiercely. They even overwhelmed Ymir's. What? Minia's murmur gave rise to Loki's question. You know what this is, Minia?
この劇場の舞台、魔王陛下の力を増幅させるために魔法が組み込まれている。決まった手順を踏めば舞台装置が変わる。あの陛下の力はないです。
Are you talking about the whole throne room here? Or audience chamber? Even Minia was most likely seeing this for the first time. Her unwavering gaze showed her deep-rooted awe towards Surt.
召喚し、舞台の役者として仕立てているのです。
Okay, maybe that's not what it is. And that's why it's a show. Surt's transformation made Loki watch with bated breath. His appearance was unchanged, but not a sliver of his previous lethargy remained. He nearly had the vigor of a man in his prime.
舞台装置。魔装の一種でしょうか。私たちをここに引き入れたのはこのためだったのね。
魔王スルトが最も力を発揮できるのはこの舞台の上というわけですね。
Okay, so it is the audience chamber, right? In that case, Ymir placed himself on a field that gave the enemy the advantage. He might have had the heart of Yggdrasil, but Surt already equaled Vedrung's power, if not surpassed it. Could Ymir compete? As nothing but an audience member at the moment, Loki was restless.
反逆者を懲伏せり。
Surt controlled the Fury Vortex and struck a pompous pose. At the same time, he appeared to blur. Rather, Surt moved so fast that he left after images as he flew right at Ymir and delivered a ferocious punch to his solar plexus. Wow, that was a weak grunt, Ymir. What the fuck? That was so weak. Ymir's body bent forward. Even I feel like I can make a better grunt than that. He was launched into the sky, where flames gave chase and burned his whole body. Ymir was so covered in fire that the outline of his body became unclear. It looked like the match was settled. However, the surging fire vanished like it was never there at all. Ymir floated in the air, but by all appearances, he had taken no damage. The only change was what was stuck in his chest. The key! Surt's vast power forced him to finally use it. Ymir put a hand on the key in his heart and looked down at the robust Dark Lord.
なるほどね。老いたりといえども魔王。そのままの力で勝てると思うほど侮っていたわけじゃないけど、やっぱり大したものだよ。
He doesn't have the scripture anymore in his belt. That's interesting.
だけど、大体の力量は読めた。それが全力なら。 秘宝を手にした私に分がある。
With that, Ymir turned the key at last. He briefly felt space become warped. Power from many dimensions converged into a torrent that brought together Ymir's many possible outcomes. There was another Ymir who set aside intellect to focus entirely on strength. The other Ymir became one with him. There's no way that's gonna be right? A Ymir worthy of being the Dark Lord was born. Oh, he already said learn your place? God damn it, Cert! Cert raised a hand and fired off countless fireballs. Before Ymir could fully make the key his own, Cert presumably hoped to burn him to ashes. The series of explosions blew Ymir's little body about like a leaf, a raging sea. I think that's supposed to be in a raging sea. Ymir!
僕のところで時間がかかってるが、このままじゃ。
He's trying to draw in enough power to take down Cert, I'm guessing. He's turning the key multiple times. What the? Multiple? The toll that took on his body couldn't have been insignificant. And while the key was activating, he was completely defenseless. Ymir was far too unprepared. I can't imagine Ymir would leave himself open like this. That could only mean one thing.
どうするんですか、ロキ様、イミル様は。
We'll help! Before Fina could finish talking, Loki's decision was made. Ymir's final use for Loki was to buy time in the fight against Cert. That's why Ymir let him live this long. And Loki's choice to side with him fell squarely into his predictions. I hate this, but it's better than letting Cert destroy everything. Turka, Freya, Odin, let's go! Fina, provide support.
わかったわ。いいぞ。記念の決着をつける時です。
This is so shonen, people actually finishing each other's sentences. Loki and the goddess is charged. Oh my god, we actually have to fight it. Let's take a look at him. 321 attack, 374 defense? Level 66! Damn. Damn! Spell barrier 50, boost fire, fire field, parry, helmet split, cross attack. Boost demon, critical boost, dark field, hardy physique, lethal critical, all attack! Oh my god. What the? D-class Black King. So this is the like after image that he made for himself. Of course, we gotta use our main team here. There's no way I can do anything. Oh, wait. Oh, I can't use tactics. Okay, that's fine. I was gonna say like, huh? Why can't I attack on the bottom middle there? I gotta use it from here. Oh boy. Let's do this, boys. We should be able to do this, hopefully. And I can use tactics. I don't know what you're gonna use. Catastrophe. Damn, this music though, making me hype. Damage to all enemies, medium fire, reduce enemy force 600. Ooh, I hope that doesn't happen. I'm gonna use Mode Sleipnir.
モードスレイプにいる。
暗黒の炎に飲まれるがよい。
Okay, wow, that does no damage. Ooh! Wowza! What the fuck? Bro! Thank you, oh my god, we gotta kill him. Holy shit! Ogremir, do something! Thank you for the parry. Okay, you're dead, right? Oh my god! Spartan! We just gotta hit him one more time! Okay, woohoo! This guy was one-shotting people, dude! Still not good enough to actually beat us though, because we got Ogremir. Oh, god, we got so carried by that. I am so lucky I actually used the guy to make use of the Key of Destiny. If not, I don't think we could have easily won that fight like we just did. He filled Anvara with all his dark energy. It couldn't nearly reach Cert's energy levels, but combined with the goddess's divine energy, it should pose something of a threat. While they had Cert's attention, they tried to put some pressure on him. Absorb my dark energy! Anvara!
リスニーデルング。
降り注ぎなさい。フリーシンガム。
ズングニルよ、魔王のローク貫け。
This is so anime, dude. The Dark Lord hunched over. His flames struck back, but Fina's umbrella diverted them. The series of lethal attacks was vicious. It almost seemed like that would be enough to win. But Surt's dark energy knew no bounds. Surt struck another pose. The heat wave almost seemed to have physical mass from how heavy the shockwave became, spreading in all directions and flinging the group away from the stage. Ah! Damn, that was a pretty good scream if I do say so myself. Loki crashed into the audience seats. Splitting pain left him unable to breathe for a while. He had abruptly blocked with his arms, which were burned by the flames. The battered goddesses stood up. Loki also tried to beat himself back into shape, but he noticed a wave of dark energy greater than Surt's. Minia looked up above and trembled. The meaning behind that was clear without a need to check. When Loki learned he just barely managed to buy time, he let out a sigh. Ymir, you made it? You really worked me like a dog, you know. By using Loki's key, Ymir achieved even greater energy than Vedrung. His appearance didn't change, presumably because it didn't need to. It was not a past or a future form, but the most powerful he could become in that moment that he embodied. The treacherous Ymir looked down at Dark Lord Surt. Ginnungagap glowed brightly, waiting to release all the dark energy it had stored at any moment. Ymir now surpassed everyone in either Yggdrasil or the Demon Realm. Confident of that, he questioned Surt. And as expected, Surt shook his head. The heart of Yggdrasil is a freaking cheat code, dude. Surt's attitude was rather sportsmanlike. When Ymir triggered the key, he seemed to sense he had lost. Ymir flailed Ginnungagap and launched the gargantuan fireball. The old Dark Lord looked up and squinted. His final whisper fell on nobody's ears. An instant later, the massive torrent of flame obliterated Surt. Wait, really? He just died like a chump there? The fire burned the everything on stage to ashes. I don't think there's supposed to be there. Typo. But when it looked like it would spiral out of control, it blew out. Only the billowing smoke proved what had happened. Nothing else remained. The curtain fell on the violent battle, followed by anticlimactic silence. The overwhelming presence that had been wiped from existence emphasized the chilling atmosphere. Maybe this is the part of the game where the choice that we make is already happening. Maybe we could have sided with Surt, right? Because remember, like I said, on the last episode, when Loki had those ... moments, it was clearly the game making choices for me based on the amount of points that I have throughout the game, right? So I think it was at that point during the battle with Ymir was when it's destined, or it was already accounted for, which route we were at. Turka timidly opened her mouth and asked the question on everyone's mind. Surt was nowhere to be seen. Not even a corpse was left. The boundless energy was gone too, indicating Surt was gone without a trace. And yet, Turka had to ask because the thought of a wielder of so much power being instantly burned to ashes was hard to believe. However,
その通りだよ。鶴とはもういない。これからは私が新たな魔王だ。
as the one who made it happen, Ymir confidently confirms Surt's demise. He stepped off the smoldering stage and pulled the key from his heart. Spending so much energy inevitably put a heavy exhaustion on his face. The price of activating the key must have been taking its toll. He was so thoroughly exhausted that if Loki wanted to attack and steal the key back, now was the time, but...
そうはいかないロキ。君が油断ならないことは誰よりも知っているからね。
When Ymir raised a hand, the stage hall was stormed by his surviving troops. They must have been waiting for the right time to burst in. In no time at all, Loki's group was surrounded. Speaking of fatigue, buying time in the fight with Surt meant that Loki and the goddesses weren't faring much better. Breaking through their siege would be highly difficult, to say the least. Loki lost his chance to take back the key and gritted his teeth. Surt's guards lost their way with their leader dead. You had this whole plan laid out, did you?
実際は何もかもギリギリだったけどね。こんな危ない賭けをするのは俺きりにしたいものだよ。
Why couldn't that be like, didn't you? That felt really off the same. Ymir played the fool and shrugged. Contrary to his behavior, his confidence went without saying.
イミル様、私たちをどうなさるおつもりですか。
ヴェーナ、安心してほしい。さっきも言っただろ。私の目指すのは世界のバランスだ。そのためには女神の存在も不可欠だからね。
Yeah, so he never even intended to kill any of the goddesses.
いたずらに害するつもりはないよ。聞き分けよくしてもらうために少し教育は必要かもしれないけど。
Ymir's observant gaze was met by the goddesses' hostile glares. If only their divine energy was full, they could strike back. Their expressions were rife with deeply felt frustration.
これは骨が折れそうだ。できればフェイナには教育を手伝ってほしいところだね。そう。今まで私の意を受けてロキの貢献をしてきたように。
Is he just making us try to doubt Fina here, or is this actually true? Ymir's nonchalant comment made Fina turn pale. With his fears confirmed, Loki stared at her face. Fina, you...
ロキ様、
Fina averted her eyes by looking down. Her behavior said she had something to be guilty about. Yeah, Loki was questioning this back when we were fighting Ymir, right? When he actually told us about the whole truth. How much does Fina know? During Loki's many years in the palace, Fina was closer to him than anyone. If she happened to be in on Ymir's plan, Loki could never forgive her betrayal. You guys remember that first scene we got when Fina was asking us who was bound to be the very... Who was closest to become... Like, which candidate was closest to become the Dark Lord? And I said Ymir, right? And that actually gave points of affection to her. I thought that was just me being smart and that Fina was reinforcing the fact that, you know, yeah, it was Ymir, like, who has the most chance, but now that we know what we know, doesn't that make you think that they were in cahoots already based on that choice? So she's not like entirely driven by logic. She was actually wanting us to say Ymir because she has ulterior motives.
どうかしたかな。
A soldier who was securing the area approached to offer a report. The confusion on his face drew Ymir's interest.
妙なもの。
Oh, is this gonna be Farba? Ymir looked and saw a number of soldiers carrying the object in question. It was a box shaped to fit a single person, so it certainly looked like a coffin, or this could be Sinmara. It had a pure black sheen, complex patterns, and jewels adorning its surface. The design indicated this was meant for someone of high status. The odd presence of the black coffin attracted the eyes of the soldiers.
間違いなくスルトのものだろうね。自分が入るつもりだったのかな。世界の最後を見とった後で永遠の眠りにつくつもりで。
You could also interpret it like that, true. The coffin's lid was shut tight. It would take a tool to pry open, making it all the more suspicious.
気になるけど罠かもしれないな。ここまで来てスルトの置き土産に引っかかるのも馬鹿らしいからね。
Damn, this guy really doesn't become overconfident.
ミニアは何か知らないかい？
Oh, sorry about that. Minia despondently shook her head. She was so melancholic that she lacked the energy to even shout down her master's killer. Ymir couldn't imagine she was lying, so he furrowed his brow and thought in silence.
仕方ないね。胃腸を回収して調べるのは後回しに。
His subordinate's frantic yell cut Ymir off. The coffin dully glowed. The jewel set in its center flashed the colors of the rainbow and generated a magic circle around the box. It activated a force field that blasted the carriers of the coffin away. While the soldiers were dismayed, the odd event continued. Was Surt's death the trigger of this? The light shined brighter and brighter, casting away all the darkness in the room. Even the patterns drawn with sunken trenches in the coffin flowed with light, and an ancient magic circle appeared. While the whole room watched from afar, the solidly shut lid slowly lifted. The coffin is opening!
これはもしかして魔装ですの？
中に一体何が？
The end of the phenomenon was abrupt. The gradually rising lid was pushed away by some power from within. Silence came for a few seconds. Whoever was inside had their limbs outstretched as they got up. Rather, they floated up, about half a meter off the floor. What? They were prepared for any manner of monstrosity, but what they saw defied expectations in another sense. The reason being that it looked like...
ティルカさん？
So, yeah, like I said, it was Sinmara, right? But why isn't she... I guess she never got corrupted. Freya called the younger goddess's name, and it was easy to see why. Her shimmering, flaxen hair, her fine skin, and her face were the spitting image of Turka. But that was impossible. The same person couldn't exist in two places at once. But Loki didn't need to think about that to instinctually guess her identity. She was... Mother! Yes, the mother Loki waited a century to see again. And the goddess he heard was long since killed. She was Sinmara.
じゃあ彼女が
So now it kinda makes sense about how Odin doesn't know that Turka and Sinmara are connected. Since just like what Surt said, she sealed her memories in the key. Why, we don't know.
まさかそんなシンボル様
The confusion reached its zenith. Why was this coffin hidden in the stage? And why did Sinmara come out of it? Wasn't she supposed to be dead? Nobody had any answers. Sinmara just quietly looked down upon them. The waves of dark energy from when the box opened surrounded her as she slowly stepped off the stage. You're my mother, aren't you? Why were you in there? What has been happening all this time? It was too much for Loki to get his thoughts in order. Sinmara looked at her child's perturbed face and uttered her first words.
宿号機レギャール
Huh?
その棺の名です。スルトのラブレシアと私は100年の長きをレギャーリンの中に閉じ込められていました。
She doesn't sound very motherly right now. Her lecturing yet calming tone was that of the mother in Loki's distant memories. If he weren't careful, he might shed some tears. But Loki controlled himself and listened closely.
レギャールンはスルトに中され 虐げられた者たちの業を吸収していきます。その中にあった私はいやおうなく豪農戦を受けました。すると都合のいい器へと変質していったのです。それは甘美な誘惑でした。どす黒い衝動に肉体を委ねる喜びに私は溺れました。
Mother? Sinmara's voice loss became less and less measured. There we go. The heightened emotions made her screech and wrap her arms around herself as she writhed. Her eyes had at some point begun to glisten with desire.
私はもう女神ではありません。魂を失い、器には新たなる魔をはらんだいびつな存在。
So what she's saying is that, yeah, she was being corrupted inside that coffin. I was wondering whether or not Surt was actually trying to get rid of the sins that she had inside of that coffin, but it's the other way around. He was actually sending sins and corruption into the coffin when he kills someone.
だというのに、この爽快な気分は何でしょうか。力がみなぎっています。戯曲の主演として演者たちを従えるにふさわしき力です。
その言い方は。
ロキ、気をつけて。彼女はシンモラ殿では。
私はスレトです。
Okay. Oh my god, this is like that, This is reminding me of that, FGO or Grand Blue, where there's this guy called Cagliostro, where I think he's basically an old man, but he put himself inside of a lolly body. Or this guy called Da Vinci in Fate Grand Order, which is basically a guy that, you know, resurrected himself inside of a female body. God, this is so awkward now. If we actually ever get a sex scene with this girl, I'm gonna be like, the body is female, but the inside is male. Am I gay? I don't know. I guess we'll just see. The waves of dark energy became lightning that attacked Loki. Fina flung herself at Loki and saved him at the last second. Lying underneath his maid, Loki was so shocked by Sinmara calling herself Surt that he was still stupefied.
バカな。スルトは倒したはず。この手で確かに消滅させた。
良き演目は時代を超えて蘇るもの。古き衣も装いを新たに。美しきこの姿は慣習の喝采を受けましょう。
その言いようはまさしくスルトだ。しかし、なぜ
Even Ymir didn't comprehend this incident. The unexpected occurrence hit him with more panic than he could hide. Mocking Ymir, Sinmara, or rather Surt, laughed.
演劇には上波球の呼吸が不可欠。魔王たる私、死よりよみがえれば、場は大いに盛り上がりましょう。
つまり、最初から敗北は織り込み済みだったと
イミル、ユグドラシルを落とそうとする私を、あなたは最初から破滅願望のためとしか見なかった。それがあなたの限界です。
Her words and intentions were Surt's, but her demeanor still matched Sinmara's as she smiled. The incompatible attributes made her all the more repulsive.
あなたが破滅以外に見ていたものがあるとそれが事実なら教えてもらいたいものだね。
まだわからないのですか。これが、この姿こそが答えですよ。
なんだって
He wanted to be reborn as a goddess? By remaking the world or something? I don't understand. Ymir grimaced. Surt presented Sinmara's body by spreading her arms. He did seem to regain his youth, but it felt like his power had declined, if anything. Of all new vessels to choose, why Sinmara? Not even Ymir could guess what was going on in Surt's head. All that aside, her appearance incurred her son's wrath. I've had enough of this shit! Loki recovered from his stupor and angrily howled. As if lying to me for decades wasn't enough, now my mother has to be toyed with. Surt, you'll burn in hell for this!
Loki-sama, dame desu!
Out of the way! You're no better than the rest of them, you bitch! Loki's words stabbed Fina's heart like a knife. Loki ignored her warnings, raised his halberd, and jumped at Surt. Can you blame him? Loki has been toyed with ever since the fight with freaking Ymir. He's been holding all his emotions just to become rational and so that he doesn't get destroyed by his own emotions, you know? He needs to lash out.
Loki, osaete!
Ah! Man, I suck at this. I tried, okay? I tried! Nobody could get through to Loki. Dominated by burning rage, the only thing that could stop him was...
Loki, 母さんに手をあげるつもりですか? そんな子に育てたつもりはありませんよ。目です。
The blade stopped right in front of Surt. Loki couldn't even believe himself. He panted and stared at her.
どうしたのですか? 早く武器を下ろしなさい。危ないでしょ。そんなものを持っていたら。
Stop acting like my mother!
真似る? 何のことです、ロッキー。変わってしまっても、母さんは母さんです。それがわかるからこそ、今刃を止めたのでしょ。
This is something that I actually don't really believe. I don't believe that just because you have my mom's body, that you're my mom. If I were Loki here, I would still be able to cut her, for sure. I don't associate my mom with just her physical features. There are stuff. Well, then again, I don't remember her enough to actually be able to, associate her with anything else, to be honest, though. And maybe Loki might be the same. But still, I wouldn't just let someone who closely resembles my mom to be able to... Basically, I have a good understanding that my mom is already dead, right? While maybe Loki still hasn't accepted that his mom is dead yet. Shut up! You're Surt! You're just playing a role. We're on a stage. That's why you're pretending to be my mother.
その通りだよ、ロキ。彼女はスルトだ。それ以外の存在などではない。
A voice of agreement rang from behind Loki. Ymir readied Ginnungop and joined Loki's side. Surt and Ymir, both were hated enemies. But given the circumstances, Loki gave Ymir his silent approval. As they stood side by side with weapons in hand, Surt observed at them through Sinmara's eyes with a concerned look.
もう仕方ないですね、ロキは。またエミルにそそのかされて。どうやらお仕置きが必要のようです。
来るよ、ロキ。
Ymir prepared himself. The goddesses still had their reservations, but took their battle stances as well. She might have been Surt, but her body was Sinmara's. Strictly in terms of strength, Odin was part of Loki's group, and combined, they should have had no trouble with her. But Surt's composed expression made that analysis seem meaningless. She was hiding something. Surt shut her eyes and calmly gathered the energy lurking within her. So I'm just gonna have to say Surt as a her now, huh? This is gonna be so weird. What's this? The overflowing power gave Loki an immediate sense that something was off. Surt was spreading her arms. Her left hand was being charged with the pitch-black energy Surt had wielded before. But her right hand was collecting.
まさか神力。相反する力を同時に行使できるなんて。
この器ならそれが可能なのです。左手に魔力を、右手に神力を。 私は魔族でもなく女神でもない超越者となったのですから。
Couldn't our dark goddesses also do the same thing then?
そんなこけ落としで
Ymir generated flames from his staff and acted first. A spiraling dragon of fire licked Surt's body. Its crimson gut consumed the Dark Lord, burning her with a booming roar. But Surt sat within the hellfire completely unharmed. As tranquil as if she were standing in a light breeze, her two hands with opposing energies came together as if in prayer. Instantly, the dragon was split in half. The balls of flame around Surt acted as if it were her who created them to begin with, this time firing toward Ymir.
銀年月の弔を我が物にしただって。
この熱気派手派手しい演出だこと少しシュールでもありませんね。
The flames turned jet black. A dark heat wave crawled along the ground. Ymir jumped over it, but he seemed to be panicked. He waved his staff to ward off the black fire as he once again placed the key against his heart.
できれば連発は避けたかったけど、こうなったら仕方ないか。
Damn, is Ymir actually gonna burn out in this chapter?
ユグドラシルの心臓を使うつもりですか。いけませんね。同じ思考では慣習に諦めましょうに。
Surt took the flames into herself, then raised both hands toward the sky. Divine energy and dark energy. Combined, they gave off a rainbow-colored glow, so bright that nobody could open their eyes. It blinded the entire performance hall. And when the light faded, she was wielding a sword that came out of nowhere. What's that?
今度は何ですの？セルギャーレンズ。全ての謎、悪心体験。しかし、今のあれは。
Odin was trembling. Even the leader of the goddesses was intimidated by this power. By absorbing divine energy, the weapon used since the ancient days of Ragnarok had further evolved into the ultimate sword. Its burning black glow drew everyone's eyes.
真相とでも呼びましょうか。いかにもセーギャールンは神と魔の力を得て、この世に切れぬものはない年間となっています。
The true gear was drawing energy from behind Surt as well. The karmic casket lay vatain. Even the sins it had stored became energy to charge the power of Surt's sword.
逃げればあれにはかなわぬ。わらわは恐ろしい。オーディ様。怒りのあやつは全てを滅ぼすつもりじゃ。じゃあ世界を滅ぼした後で自身が滅ぶつもりは毛頭ない。実はキャツメは
蓋をした記憶が少しだけ蘇りましたか。絶対し人のセリフを取るのは感心しませんが、あなたがあれば許しましょう。私の見たいのは人も魔も神も滅んだ先、すべての枠組みを壊し、新たな歴史、新たな戯曲を私は紡ぎたいのです。
So yeah, Surt wants to be the only, you know, he wants to be a creator basically, right? With that declaration, the transcendent energy surged. Saegjarn was fully charged. I hope I'm saying that right. If Surt swung the sword, everyone present would likely be annihilated. It was impossible to deny when faced with the despair-inducing glow that darkly illuminated the stage. Loki, Fina, the goddesses, Ymir and his troops. Faced with inevitable death, all they could do was look up at the heavenly, yet sinister light.
さあ、フィナーレです。あなたたちはもう戯曲の続きを見ることは叶います。ルク、せめてこの母のことを葬られることを幸いと思うのですね。
If you think that's any better than, you know, just dying in a ditch, you're clearly delusional, Surt. Damn it all! Loki's vision was blacked out by a torrent from Sagarn. He heard his own dying scream off in the distance.
ロキ君は生きるんだ
What, the Ymir protected us? Before he lost consciousness, Loki thought he heard Ymir's voice. Okay guys, I don't usually do this, but I think I'm actually gonna end the episode right here. That is actually an insanely long scene. We are at 2 hours, 12 minutes. Thank the Lord that I'm actually doing dual episodes this episode, or sorry, this day. God, if I had to wait for 1 day for this, I don't think I could have actually done it. I probably would have done double episodes instantly right here too. Test of will. Yeah, we are still at chapter 6. That is insane. Only 1/8 scene, by the way. Holy moly. But yeah, I'm gonna take a short break, but this is gonna be the episode for now. So for people on YouTube, you will be... Well, you won't really be off at a cliffhanger, right? We don't know what's gonna happen, but at least I ended off that scene. Like, you know, at the very end. We're just seeing a black screen right now, so... In the next episode, it will be a new scene, seeing that Loki survived the blast and see what's gonna happen. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Give this video a like if you guys like it. Sub if you guys haven't. Patreon will be getting these episodes early access along with everything uncensored. And of course, don't forget, for people on YouTube, Patreon now has free members. So if you guys aren't a free member on Patreon just yet, go to patreon.com/Azaikyousuke and become a free member. Because that's going to be where I put free episode previews, or, you know, first episode previews of future playthroughs. But yeah, man, this game, or this visual novel, actually surprised me quite a lot. I did not expect this to be, like, very story intensive. Looking at the, what is it, cover of the game on VNDB. But I am pleasantly surprised. I feel like I'm not comparing this very correctly, but because these two are what I'm playing currently, I do feel like I prefer VenusBlood Frontier compared to Alcana. But you can't really compare the two stories because they're just not in the same genre, but you know, it's just very nice. But yeah, I'll take a short break and I will see you guys on Patreon in a couple of hours. For people on YouTube, I'll see you in 2 days or 4 days, depending on when this episode released. See ya!